Hi, this is Tom Stone. Welcome to this demonstration on transforming chronic pain into ease and comfort. We're using a special set of techniques called the Pure Awareness techniques, and so far I've done 6 of these demos on this topic, all with women, interestingly, and every one of them, the person has had really quite severe chronic pain, everything from a couple of years, 3 years, 10 years, 15 years, all the life. It's been amazing. And in every single case, in one session, we've gotten rid of all the chronic pain completely. It's like utterly amazing. So this is a big breakthrough for the handling of chronic pain. I've always considered the pure awareness techniques that we'll be using in this process to be something mainly for emotional challenges and getting rid of, disruptive emotions we call trauma and things like that. But it turns out, interestingly enough, that many very physical things can also be dramatically helped by these techniques. So that's really cool. So our volunteer for this session is MaryFrances Barbisan, and she's from Calgary, Canada. I met her actually many years ago when I gave a workshop up there. And so we reconnected on Facebook, which was a very nice function that Facebook has to connect you with people you haven't seen for ages. And so I just want to introduce MaryFrances. And MaryFrances, the camera will go to you when you start talking. And please introduce yourself, say a little bit about your challenges that you'd like to address today. And then we'll give very brief explanation to people how to get the right orientation so they can get the most out of this, those that be watching. And please go ahead.
Thank you, Tom. It's good to reconnect. And I was just so drawn to your work once again because I've got some chronic pain. I cannot remember the last time I didn't have pain in my body. And to varying degrees. And there's a gob of emotional content in there, and I'm well aware of that, and it's almost more painful to be awake in it. So about 20 years ago, a whole bunch of crap happened in 3 months, and a lot of emotional stuff in there. Did you want me to?
It's okay. You can tell a little bit.
A little bit of the background. Yeah. This big car accident. My brother died in a house fire. I fell down about 4 stories down the side of a cliff into a mountain crevice. All my grandparents died, my divorce papers came through, and then I'm in a head-on car crash, all in 3 months.
Wow.
And just massive. My fillings all fell out within 48 hours from the whiplash of my head going back and forth inside the car. Yet I looked like I do now. Yet what was going on in here wasn't good. So it took me about 20 months to get back to work. I'm a nurse in those days. And because of the accident, I did get into the healing arts, but I'm still being left with this residual pain. And I'm trying to really move forward in my work right now. And the more I'm, intending to move forward, the worse my body feels. It started to feel better. I've had some vision problems and pain problems, and it was starting to get better the last couple years. And right in the midst of a volatile personal relationship, I get hit on my bicycle by an RV. And then I had another hit to my head, and it's been the last couple of years, everything's been exacerbated. And when I started to look back in time, I have had 9 separate incidences. Some of them weren't severe at all, but there was 9 separate incidences where I was hit in a car. I was the passenger every single time, and we were hit in the front on the driver's side every single time. From little ones to big ones to the great big one, and varying degrees. And I just somehow wonder if I've kind of like held this in my life, maybe even before all the trauma and drama, but it's time to go. And I'm moving forward in my work and feeling really challenged on every level: emotional, physical, spiritual. And right now the physical pain in the body has gone right up, and I want to be done with it.
Okay, wow, that's quite a background. So, is the pain in all over, or in particular specific places?
No, I actually cured all over pain. I was told back in 20 years ago I'd never work again. I'd never have a life, take the pills, and diagnosed with chronic fatigue stuff. And I actually moved through that and conquered all of that total body pain and moved through that. And now it's very localized in my lumbar spine. And right now, the last week, my hip just flared up.
Okay.
And it's hard to walk.
Okay.
So it's quite localized. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's affecting my mind. Like my mind keeps going sideways with all this.
Sure. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. People think of the mind and body as separate things, but they're not really separate. They're just two aspects of one person.
And it's more and more clear every day. And it's like, yeah.
So in terms of severity, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being no pain, 10 like as bad as it gets, how bad is it now?
So sitting still is 0. But when I go to get off the chair or put my pants on or my socks on, today might have been 5 or 6. A week ago might have been 7 or 8 or 9.
Okay.
I went to get some care by a practitioner, and I would say it went 10 plus, and it was he just made it all worse.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for that background. So for those who are watching this as a video online, if you have not yet seen the brief orientation video, go to the website at innergreatnessglobal.com. That's my website. And at the bottom of any page, you can do a search. Type in the word orientation, and it will give you the series of pages with that word in it. The one that says orientation for the demos, that's the one you want. So click on that, stop this video, click on that, watch that approximately 12-minute video, which is an orientation of how we do this work. MaryFrances has already watched that, and she's familiar with this, so I don't need to repeat that here. So you can watch that. That'll save us some time. Put this one on pause, go watch that, and then come back and watch this afterwards. It'll make a lot more sense. Okay, so MaryFrances, the thing that I've been doing that's been so effective with these previous people is that we use, of course, the muscle testing. You're familiar with it. We do that. And the value of the muscle testing is very much related to the precision of the specificity of the intention that you use when you're testing. The more specific it is, the more precise and accurate the result that you get is. Okay? So it's kind of like the old giggle, garbage in, garbage out. If you're not very clear about the intention, you don't get very clear results. So what I've been doing with these sessions that have been working so well is I've had the intention to test for and find the absolute cornerstone root cause energies that cause the chronic pain. Now, some of them may be stored right where the chronic pain is. Others may be stored in some other location that's separate from that. So we'll let your body, the experiential wisdom of your body, guide the whole session by virtue of using the muscle test. That sound okay?
Yes.
And in order to do that, I need your permission to muscle test on your behalf because we're doing this from quite a distance.
Yes.
So that's okay. Thank you. So we're going to start then, even before that, by testing that the possibility of solving this problem at the level of the pure awareness techniques, which we can do online like this, okay, is very high. Yes, it's 100%. Oh, this is good. Okay. Okay. There's some other level from the where to start chart that could make a significant contribution. Yeah. Energetic level, something else. There is a technology that we have, you may recall from back years ago. Eventually back then we called it the Wavemaker Pro. Now we have a new version of it called the Quantum Energy Optimizer, fancy name. And it's quite wonderful. It's also possible to treat chronic pain with that, but it has to be done in person, and that's you're not gonna fly to China to have a session with me, so we're gonna skip that. You never know. Anyway, the percentage of the solution possible with that, more than 10, more than 20, 10, 15, 16, 17, 17%. So that's not so big, okay? That's actually good news because that means 73% of this we can resolve with the pure awareness techniques, Yes. Okay. This is great. So the vast majority of this, we have the potential to resolve by taking this approach. That's wonderful. Let's see how it goes. So the number of trauma energies that need to be resolved using the in technique, pure awareness technique. We used to call it the core technique. Now we call it in. So this is 1, 2, only 2. Amazing. Okay. Well, you did say it was quite localized and concentrated, so that kind of makes sense, all right? And there's also some out technique energies we need to resolve as well. 1, 2, just 1. Okay. So the out technique energies are the energies of what are called reactive emotions. And these are like, frustration, disappointment, anger, things like that. And you may have some of this kind of stuff regarding just having to deal with this chronic pain for so long. Yeah. So we'll handle both. Well, that's great. We only really have 3 sort of patterns of energy that are really at the root of this whole problem, and that's very doable. Okay, we can easily do that in just 1 session. So let's see how much we can reduce the pain. And what we'll do also is, in a couple of weeks, we'll do a follow-up and see how you're doing, and then even in 3 months, we'll do another follow-up, because we want to get a permanent solution for you here.
So right now, across my hips from the back, it's really hot.
Okay. On a scale of 0 to 10?
I always feel like I have a heating pad. Maybe like, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what number that is. It's quite interesting.
All right. So we need locate in order to find the first pattern of energy of the pain. Yes. Okay. So the first pattern of energy that's at the root cause of continuing to have this is not necessarily where you actually feel the pain itself. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's accurate. Yeah. Okay. So in order to find it, we're going to use one of the other techniques that we use is called the locate technique. It helps us locate the pain. Mm-hmm. And I'll guide you through it. It's very simple. We go into the quietness and we just tell the body, show us where the energy is. And in the quietness of your own awareness, the body has to show you. It just does it. Okay. And it does it pretty immediately. So let's do that. Go ahead and close your eyes. This will be easiest to do with your eyes closed. And of course, when you close your eyes, you can still hear my voice and other sounds. You can feel your body sitting in the chair, or on the sofa, wherever you are. Yeah, sit as comfortably as you can. Okay, good. The other predominant thing that happens when you sit comfortably with your eyes closed, or sit quietly with your eyes closed anyway, I don't know if it's comfortable or not, but you'll have thoughts coming and going in the mind. Now, your thoughts occur in a background of silence. That background of silence is your awareness, the very awareness you're using to have the experience of the thoughts and everything else. And when you're observing your thoughts during this process, the ideal way to do it is to kind of just watch them from a slight distance. So in order to do that, don't be concerned about the meaning or content of the thoughts. Just let them sort of float by like clouds blowing by on a partly cloudy day. And that's a good analogy, actually, because when you look up at the sky on a partly cloudy day, you can see the clouds and you can easily see the sky. You just look off to the side of the clouds and there it is. The sky is always there in the background. Very much like that. We're not looking for clouds and sky, it's just an analogy. But very much like that, as an analogy, the thoughts are kind of like the clouds. The background of silence is kind of like the sky. And so it's very easy to access the silence. You just look off to the side of your thoughts, and there it is. So you can start doing that as the next thoughts are coming. Notice the thought from just observing it from that little distance. And then look off to the side and notice that sort of emptiness, quietness that's there in the background. Now, it won't take long for other thoughts to come along, and they'll sort of interrupt the quietness. And that's completely okay because we're not trying to get rid of thoughts, and it's normal to be having thoughts. So when each next thought comes, do the same thing. Notice the thought, look off to the side of the thought, and notice the background of silence again. So the idea is you get a sequence of kind of tastes of that quietness. And as you do that more and more, you don't even have to complete the sort of sentence of the thought. As soon as you recognize that you're having a thought, look off to the side, notice the quietness again. So as you start to get a sense of that quietness, we can now just tell the body, show us the first of these energies that's at the real root cause of the ongoing chronic pain. And pretty much immediately the body will show you some tight, constricted place inside, kind of a knot or ball of energy. It'll be localized, but it may be, and probably is, in a separate place than the pain itself. This is probably something that's kind of blocking the normal self-healing of this kind of thing. Yeah, that's testing is correct. You have a sense of that someplace?
I have two places fighting for
Okay.
attention.
Yeah? Where are they?
There
Yeah.
and right there. Like I feel like I want to take my undergarment off and right under
So
the breastbone.
under the, okay.
No,
So
below
this,
it, like in the soft tissue.
yeah, sort of solar plexus kind of region.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the solar plexus one is the one we're after now. Yeah. So let's go for the one in the solar plexus.
So it's the one that spoke first, since we started the session.
Oh, okay. Okay,
and
great.
Then this one started talking and saying, "What about me?"
Yeah. Well, we'll get to it if we need to. Okay, so the one in the solar plexus is definitely one of the root cause energies of the non-self-healing of this pain. Yes. So let's go for that one. Notice that there's a field of energy there. It's not just a point. But if you get closer to it, bring your awareness closer to it, you'll notice that there's an area within the field where the energy is stronger than elsewhere. And that's typically right in the center. Can you sense that?
I just have this perpetual sense that I can't catch my breath fully.
Yeah. That's the kind of constriction part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So within that feeling, there's a place where it feels the most sort of constricted or tight. Yeah. This is the place where the essence of this energy resides. And this energy is there because something happened in the past that was just too much, and you've certainly had plenty of those experiences. It was just too much to process in the moment. So the energy has been stored here waiting to be completed. But everyone on the planet has a very deep conditioning of resisting feeling things fully, suppressing and avoiding their emotional pain as much as possible. And that conditioning happens when we're very little, even before we learn how to talk, just from getting emotionally overwhelmed many, many times.
Mm-hmm.
And so the tendency is to not feel this stuff and therefore to kind of keep it, sort of archive it, like sweeping it under the rug. The problem is it's still under the rug.
Mm-hmm.
So what we want to do to get rid of this is to complete it, to complete the experience of the sensation of the energy. But we want to do that in a very efficient and effective way so that it's not only thorough, but also reasonably quick. Got something up there too?
Like it's right under the bone up higher.
Okay.
And
Okay. So this area under the bone up higher is actually the place, optimal place for us to focus the attention. Yeah, it is. So it's a little bit higher. Okay. So what we want to do is to notice the central, strongest part of the sensation and just gently notice it. Don't try to make it go away. Don't try to do anything to it.
it's got like
Just,
spider legs that want to come out.
yeah, okay, that's good. So as you notice it, just because you're allowing yourself to feel it more than you normally would, it'll have a kind of intensity level that may stay more or less the same for a little while. But after a while, it's going to start to gradually diminish and become less intense. When it does, let me know.
And it's making a lot of noise.
Mm. Okay. We need to concern ourselves with the noise. And don't worry about the noise. Keep your attention focused on the central, strongest part of the sensation.
So I meant by noise, I meant sensation.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, good. I get it. Yeah. So wherever it's the noisiest, yeah, put your attention
Like a
right.
little kid having a temper tantrum on top of it.
Yeah, there you go. Well, could very well be a part of it. Yeah, I can envision the kid lying on the floor, pounding his hands and feet against the floor. I don't want this.
I didn't want to be here.
Exactly. There you go.
Never did, never do.
Yeah.
I almost drowned a couple times too, so it's like I'm tempting the powers that be.
Mm. Mm. Well, somehow they've managed to keep you on the planet till now.
Mm-hmm.
So MaryFrances is doing it exactly correctly. Yes. Now, did it soften a little bit?
I feel like a little bit out of breath. It feels like it's just come back down a little closer to that solar plexus spot.
Okay. Okay.
My hands feel hot and clammy.
Okay. Okay. Lots going on. That's good. Change is good.
Mm-hmm.
So refocus on the central strongest area. If it seems like it's moved, probably hasn't moved. It's probably that you have more than one location where this energy is stored. And as one of them was subsiding a little bit, the other one said, hey, what about me? So it raised its hand and said, come on over here. I need your attention over here. The body's pretty smart like that. Very smart, actually. So again, just focus on the central, strongest area of the sensation. And if it starts to get a little softer, then you can afford to get even a little closer to it.
Sure. It's like, back off.
Yeah,
Right.
don't rush in.
All right, thanks for that message.
Yeah. Back up. Get the optimal distance from it, MaryFrances, is where you can really feel it, but it's not overwhelming.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, because we're engaged in a process of completing the incomplete experience, and we want to do that efficiently. And the way to do it efficiently is to keep your attention right in the center of the strongest part of the sensation, and then keep adjusting the distance that you are from it so that it's optimal, which means as close as possible without being overwhelmed.
So I'm just feeling like a little burp come up, and that feels like it's taking pressure off.
Oh, good.
It's like a sense of things easing, almost feeling like there's a place to play, and then it just stops and then goes back to the focus point. And it feels like it wants to just kind of soften and let go a little bit, and then it comes.
Okay. Often when you've had multiple experiences in the way that you've had, there'll be multiple layers to the energy stored there. And it may be, and its testing is yes, that may be that this is the case where one layer of it starts to get resolved, and then you sort of, kind of like a stack of pancakes or something, you get to the next layer and oh, wow, there it is again. So it can be like that. But that's good. It means you're moving through it, those completing layers of it, which is good.
This layer feels like scorching, burning.
They can certainly have different qualities.
Yeah.
So if it's scorching, go to the scorchiest part of it and just notice the strongest area of that particular quality. Again, if you just innocently, gently notice it, you'll be completing the experience that's held there, the energy that's held there. It'll gradually diminish and become less.
So it's almost like as it wants to lighten, there's another piece of me going, no, I get to hang on to you.
Yeah, when you have something like pain around for a long time, you can almost start to become identified with it. It's just kind of familiar, And it's like, what'll I do if I don't have this? How will I even know who I am? So we need to address that. No, that'll go as part of the process. That's okay. Sometimes there's a separate energy that causes that we have to deal with. We call it a gatekeeper. It's a kind of a fear. Yeah, kind of a fear of losing the sense of who you are if you change that much. We have to do something, but we don't have to do anything about that in this case. You're okay. It'll just resolve as we go. Good, you're doing great. So this process of completing the incomplete energy that's held there is not something that we can force the timing of it. It has its own natural timing. All we can do is be as efficient as possible in our process. And the way we do that is the combination of focusing on the central, strongest part of the sensation And then when it softens, immediately getting closer to it, which makes it seem stronger again. And that's okay. But you manage the distance. Don't rush in and get too close so that it's overwhelming. Just adjust it enough that you get the optimal level of being able to experience it and complete it. Doing it just right. Yeah, you're doing it just right. How's it going?
Well, everything kind of just came way up, and I felt like I just needed to be noticing this sense of me feeling like being rocked was a good thing.
Great.
And then I kind of went down, and then now it's right at the back wall, like as if it's on this side of my spine, like at the back.
Yeah, I got it. Yep. Okay. All good. The change is good. This means there are gradually aspects of it that are completing. And that's exactly what we want.
Stretch it all open. Yet whenever I've done that before, it never gave me satisfaction. Like at a yoga class or having a chiropractic kind of adjustment, it never gets there. So I feel like I'm wherever that place is.
Yeah. That's exactly the kind of thing we're looking for, because that's something that can't really be fixed at a mechanical or physical level, because it's really a pattern of energy that needs to be completed experientially, and the attempting to fix it physically doesn't do that.
Yes.
So we're on the right track here. Yeah. Need some physical intervention like chiropractic or something like that? No, not testing. No.
It feels like it's shooting a string up inside to tug on my throat. My throat.
Something about that we need to deal with. Yeah, there's a portion of that energy where there's a kind of central, strongest part to it. Put your yeah, right in there. Put your attention there.
Like right in behind the hyoid bone. Right in
Yeah.
there.
I'm just having the intuition. This is actually the second energy that we're looking for. This one held up in the throat. Yeah, this is the second one. So first one is completed. Very good. Good progress.
It's sending an awareness right here to the parietals. Just an awareness.
Still feel sensation in the throat? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's sending something up here.
Kind of radiating out up there. Okay. This is a kind of
A
referring.
little fan going, hey. And almost like a tingling.
Okay. You need to allow the attention to be drawn to that area. Yeah, go ahead and let the attention be drawn to that area where it's tingling. That's good. Yeah, the feedback about your experience is excellent. It gives me a chance to test it and see where we need to go. So that's good.
It's like a little bit of a band tightening across here. And then this sense like my whole front wants to just like barf out.
Which one feels stronger?
This tight band here.
Yeah. Go to the place in the band where it feels the tightest.
It's like a little voice in my head saying, I'm messing with you. It's like, would you just like back off and get up down?
Need to concern ourselves with this little voice? No, it's okay. Just stay with the sensation of the tightness.
Okay.
You'll find that to be diminishing.
I just feel like a lot of chaos going on.
Where's the feeling of the most chaotic part of it?
Or like I'm back to the back side of the
Okay.
back there, and it's like, ugh. And then my right foot is falling asleep, and I'm actually sitting quite perfectly, but I'm restless now, and the foot's tingling. So I'm just going to bring it up.
Okay, you need to do something about the foot. No, you need to do something about the back. Yeah, that place in the back that's on the sort of inner side of the spine you were talking about. Put your attention there.
It likes attention.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Wants to cry. I feel like I've always felt like I had some imprint of a tragic love story in me.
Mm, mm.
So
So,
it's kind of tucked in there.
yeah, optimal to do something about that. Yeah. So the place that feels the most like it wants to push you into crying, you have a sense of where that is?
Yeah, it's back there.
Yeah. So just notice that part. And if you put your attention right into the center of it, you'll notice that when you do that, then you won't feel like crying. You get that? Kind of. Yeah. Crying happens when the emotional energy overwhelms you and kind of sucks you into it. Yeah. But if you keep a little bit of a distance from it and you focus on the central, strongest part, strangely enough, that's actually the safest place to be because it gives you a little bit of a distance from it and you don't collapse into it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with crying, it's okay, but it's not an efficient way to complete the energy, and we're about completing the energy because that's what's going to give us the breakthrough we're looking for.
It's better.
Yeah, that's it. This is what completing it does.
Two little strings kind of tugging.
Okay, we need to
They're
go there. Yeah,
little,
let's
they're,
go.
they're little.
Let's go there and feel the place where the tugging feels most like there's a kind of tightness related to the tugging, a kind of tension there. You're doing terrific, by the way.
Kind of like it's the back of my throat on the top. Feels like it's has
Just
an
a kind of,
awareness.
yeah, tightness there, some kind of tension or something. Yeah. Yeah, just zero in on that. Let your awareness be kind of like a laser beam right into the center of it. Not laser beam in the sense of trying to burn it away or something, but just focused right into the center.
I get this sense like I want to vacate my body and just whew.
Mm, this is a good idea. No, not a good idea.
It's a safe place from all this.
Yeah, well, we all have a lifetime of attempting to avoid these painful feelings. And so that feeling of wanting to just get out away from it, it's very, very common. But at the moment, that's kind of the 3-year-old in you who doesn't want to have this experience. Right? And so we just kind of comfort it a little bit and get back to completing the incomplete experience. That's going to make everybody in there happy.
I still have that awareness in the back of my throat, but it's different.
Mm. Change is good. And then when they're all, that's a little bit like the fog burning off in the morning sun, it just kind of disappears. And when all the energy's gone, then that one's complete.
It's kind of like vague sensations of everything that we talked about.
Yeah. So we need to do something about these vague sensations. No, you know, when you get a cramp in a muscle and then the cramp is gone and afterwards there's a little bit of a kind of an ache and it's like the tissues are kind of unwinding and sort of normalizing. That very often is the case when you remove this kind of deep emotional stress that you've been holding there for a long time. There's actually been some kind of almost gnarling or twisting of the tissues or fibers of the body. And so when the energy of the stress is gone, then the body needs a little time to kind of unwind itself and regulate itself. And so often you'll feel this kind of little sort of vague sort of shadow of what was there. And this is what's happening. Yeah, that's what's happening. So that's okay. We don't have to do anything about those. So scan your body and see if there's still some sensation of pain anywhere. Or any kind of discomfort. It can be kind of an emptiness or a numbness you were mentioning before.
Like a thickness.
Still a little bit up there.
Just like a thickness.
Okay. Optimal to deal with it. Yeah, the thickness part. Go to the place where it feels the most thick. Yeah, that's the one.
In there.
And just notice the area where it feels the most thick.
That was a traumatic event.
Had your tonsils out?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Massive abandonment.
Yeah, I had my appendix out. Same thing. It was pretty awful. When you were a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
And then I just have an awareness of these tooth area. This feels better.
Tooth area needs some attention. No, that's something else. Okay. So all of the energy, these two energies that have been at the root cause of not being able to self-heal from this chronic pain, these are now all completed. Yes. All right. Fantastic. Why don't you open your eyes for a few moments? Let's take a little break. Good job, girl. Really good. Excellent. So we had tested at the beginning that there's also one of these out technique energies. And the out technique energy is is a kind of, you know, it may even be hard to put a label or name on it, you know, but I'm sure that it's been incredibly frustrating to have all this pain for so long. So frustration, disappointment, sadness, upset, anger, could be a whole mixture of feelings about, yeah, everything. It's like, can't even really put, yeah,
well,
can't even really.
I feel worthless. And then it's like, I got to be done with all that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm still supposed to be here yet. I want to be done with it all.
Yeah, might as well enjoy it, huh? Yeah. So I can hear the emotion in your voice as you talk about that. It's no surprise. I mean, it's been a lot to endure. So
tough year and a half, because everything got worse as it just started to ramp up again. Doesn't feel good.
Can you hear me? Ah, there you go. Now I got you
Yes.
back. Okay. All right. So you'll notice that if you allow yourself to feel this energy, it also was kind of pushing you almost to crying. Huh? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this energy kind of radiates out from the body, and it creates a sort of cloud or aura of energy that surrounds and engulfs you. It may even feel somewhat oppressive, you know, like it's kind of like, yeah.
Can't be more oppressive than it has been.
Yeah, I'm sure. Can you feel that?
Yep.
Okay, so this is a very different type of energy. We call it reactive emotion. This is emotions that are reactions to some stories that you have running on inside or in a story, okay? And usually they're connected either with some upset over an unmet expectation. I mean, you certainly didn't expect life to be like this. Or they're the projection of a possible negative outcome onto the future, like, oh, something else bad might happen. Okay, and it could even be a combination of those. Yeah. So let's use the locate technique again. If you're up for continuing, this is the last energy. We're going to get this one and really, you know, we have a really good chance of a major breakthrough here, MaryFrances. You know, be kind of done with this. Huh? That would really be super. Yeah. So go ahead and close your eyes again. And let's go back into the... It's okay. Take your time.
Yeah, my body's just going, yeah. All right. Here we go.
So go back into the quietness again. Just notice a few thoughts and look off to the side. Notice the background of quietness. Yeah, and then just tell the body, show me that cloud of energy. I think you already feel it. Don't even have to tell the body. Huh? You already feel that sense of being engulfed by it.
I feel like I have a burp again.
No problem.
I don't normally burp though, so it's kind of cool.
Can you sense that energy sort of radiating out into the space around you, engulfing you, surrounding you? If not, tell the body to show it to you and it will.
Got that sense of
it's 7 o'clock.
Here.
So the sense that you have in your chest is kind of the origin point of this energy. Yeah, it sort of starts there and it's like a fountainhead. It just kind of pours out, spews out into the space around you. This is much subtler. It's not so condensed and localized like the other energy. It's more like a cloud or aura of energy that surrounds and engulfs you. And we're just wanting to get a sense of that and allow ourselves to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you got it now. Good. So the instruction's very simple. You just go see how big this cloud or aura of energy is. And the way you do that is to let your awareness move out through the space around you further and further until you find the outer reaches of the energy where it just kind of fades off into the surrounding quietness. And we're interested in accessing that quietness that's outside the field of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Here to be
good.
aware of behind me and in front of me.
Yeah, that's okay. So wherever it is that you can sense it, go a little bit further away from the cloud of energy, a little bit more deeper into the quietness. And this will get the distinction between the quietness and the energy field even more clear. Get a sense of that?
Yes.
Yeah. And now go much, much deeper into the quietness, quite far away from the energy field. Yeah, and notice that you could just keep going. There's nothing there to block you. It's just kind of vast and limitless. You get that?
Yes.
This is the place we want to function from, right here. Notice there's no emotional energy out here. It's just quiet. Get that sense of it being just kind of endless? Yeah, very beautiful. It's a great place to hang out. Now, if you look back at the energy cloud that you were inside of just a little bit ago, What's happening to it now?
Oh, there's a little bit of rumble,
Yeah.
like old stories that say I belong in the muck instead of out in the joy and pleasure of the ethers.
Yeah. Yeah. This story that sort of I belong in the muck. Can you see that in some way that's kind of been running in the background, almost like a
Oh yeah,
semi-conscious bad habit? Yeah. Yeah.
I can't say it's a
Yeah.
habit, just an awareness that never goes away no matter what kind of work I've done.
That's called a habit. So there's nobody forcing you to run the story, but you've been running it. And the reason is because you grew up on the planet Earth where everybody does this and you just learned it by being around people who do it all the time. Yeah. And so we want to allow this story to collapse back into the nothingness out of which you created it. And the way to do that is to really examine whether there's any value whatsoever in continuing to allow this story to be in your consciousness. You've kind of felt like a victim of it, like you just said, it's just sort of always there. It's like pervasively there. But
I'll like bring an awareness and want to delete it or have it pack its bags and go with an awareness, and then it feels like it's another layer, it's another depth, and then I would sometimes feel like I'm just carrying everybody's shit.
exactly.
Yeah, and then I'd
So
unwind that to a certain point, but just to a certain point.
yeah. So we want to really examine the full package of stories that are holding this energy in place, because the energy that you're experiencing is a reaction to the stories. And if we really examine the stories and notice how not helpful they are, in fact, how damaging they are to you, then the unconscious aspect of just continuing to allow them to be there in your awareness gets transformed by recognizing that they're not only worthless but damaging, and also that now that you're outside the cloud of energy, the whole perspective is different. You actually feel more empowered, more a choice about whether you allow the stories, any of these stories, to continue to be there or not. Can you see that? Yeah, from out in the expansiveness of pure awareness, you don't have to be the victim of this old conditioned reaction. That's all it is.
Do you think I
And
can
so,
inherit it? Is that just a storyline that it's
well, let's
inheritable?
check it out. This has some inherited component to it. Yeah, but even the inherited part, it doesn't mean that you have to be a victim of the inherited part.
Yeah.
You know, because you're in the expansiveness of your awareness, you are limitless and it is limited, no matter what its source. And everything is nothing but patterns of vibrating awareness anyway, even inherited stuff, right?
Yeah.
And because it's vibrating awareness, when you extract yourself from it, and when you make the decision to no longer empower it in any way, shape, or form, the moment you make that decision to not allow it to be in your awareness anymore, it will collapse back into nothingness, and any remaining energy that's there will collapse back into nothingness with it. This is the nothingness out of which you created these patterns in the first place. Really allow yourself to settle into that place of you being a choice about this. And when the decision to disallow any of these stories to be there in your awareness is very thoroughly in place, then the stories and the energy will all collapse back into nothing. And then you'll be back in that, just in that expansive peacefulness by itself, without all of that stuff.
More like a fog than a bunch of little boxes.
Exactly. Exactly that. And when you really feel the sense that you're not going to give any energy to these kind of stories anymore, then they will own no real estate in your awareness. They won't be there. And then even the fog or mist of any remaining energy will collapse back into nothing.
Got a really nice mist right now, though.
What's that? Nice?
A really nice mist I've got.
Oh, okay. Nice is good.
It is really nice.
Oh, very good.
Coming down the vineyard slopes in Piemonte, Italy.
Oh, cool.
It's white and cool and fresh and pretty.
That sounds better.
And it just kind of moves over the ground. But it isn't the ground. It's just a nice picture.
Wonderful. So this out technique energy is now completely resolved. Yes. There's some more of it or an additional one that we need to identify and resolve? No. Okay, so all of the energies that have been at the root cause of MaryFrances's chronic pain are now completely resolved.
Amen.
Amen. Good job, girl.
Thank you.
Really good job. Fantastic. So the proof of the pudding is in the eating, huh? So what we got to do is live into this for a couple of weeks and see how it feels, see what happens. Now, your body's been in pain for a long time, right? So there's been a lot of kind of this contortion or, sort of stressing of the actual fibers and tissues of the body. And so it may take a little time for all of that to kind of gradually relax and unwind itself. And we have to allow for the body to heal itself, right? So that may take a little while. So let's do this. How about we touch base in a couple of weeks? Let's see the timing. 2 weeks will work. Okay, about 2 weeks. And we'll see how you're doing. Just have a short call, maybe 10, 15 minutes, get a report, see how it is. And then we'll do that again in about 3 months to see that it's really lasting, okay? And if along the way we need a little tune-up someplace, fine, we'll do it. Okay?
Awesome. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for volunteering and reconnecting. This is great. And
yes. Thank you.
I'm going to send you an email with some suggested time for the follow-up and also some other resources, a few web pages and a few things to give you some resources for ongoing support. One thing that we have that I'll just mention here is we have a free app. It's on both Apple and Android platforms, and it's got all the instructions in audio form and a special audio player. You just swipe to the right anywhere on the screen, gives you the next instruction for doing the technique. Okay? So you can guide yourself through the techniques at your own pace. It's wonderful. It's even better than being coached by somebody else. You're coached by yourself, right? So it's very cool. So I'll send you the links to that. You can download it, check it out, try it out. And also a few web pages with, one of the things that makes life really worth living and is to be more successful in every aspect of your life. To have it really be thoroughly enjoyable. And one of the key factors in that, all the people who are really successful, like the big Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, Albert Einstein, all these people, they all have these famous quotes about that in order to do that, you have to trust and follow your intuition. And you know that, yeah. And everybody is deeply conditioned to not do that. And the thing that causes them to not do that are these thoughts of doubts, self-doubts and, projections of possible negative outcomes onto the future, negative thinking, things like that. All of those kinds of thoughts are caused by unresolved ego-based thoughts or unresolved emotional pain-based thoughts. And I've recently developed and discovered an incredibly special program for how to identify those things. Normally they slip by us and we don't even pay attention. We're just so used to having them, and so they keep undermining us like that. So I've figured out how to make that sort of unconscious quality conscious. And so I'll send you some information about that. There's a webpage called Making the Unconscious Conscious, How to Make the Unconscious Conscious. You'll like this because you're into this anyway. Okay, so
yes.
you'll really like this. Okay, what a pleasure to reconnect with you, and I'm delighted to support you with this. And I'm very much looking forward to a really, really positive outcome. We'll make sure that that's the case. Okay.
I'm relieved and grateful. Thank you.
Wonderful. You're so welcome. Delightful to reconnect, and we'll be in touch. I'll be in touch by email, and then we'll reconnect in a couple of weeks.
Beautiful.
Very good. Okay. Lovely.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.